From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
I pour my life out in front of me, dreams of who I want to be, and seeing every empty page. But I find that everything I am is everything I should be. I don't need to run away.
It's Friday, June 14th, 2019, and it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and here with me in our Orlando studios, on the ones and twos, our illustrious engineer, my brother, Cameron Strang.
Hello.
Too many words. I got to cut that down. On the Skype line from Loverland, Virginia, Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
And from Nashville, Tennessee, our senior editor, Tyler Huckabee.
Hey, everybody.
We're rolling lean and mean this week again. Now, you know what happened last week when this was the crew.
In the ditch within minutes. Back out of the driveway.
I'm surprised they even allowed us back in the driver's seat.
I'm surprised the
Well,
internet
quickly.
even did. Yeah.
Can we? I mean, let's be honest. Let's tell the listeners what's going on. We also do other things. We have a thing called a magazine. We have a daily website. There's a lot going on here at the old Relevant Media Group, and for all, and then our friends who join us, they have a lot going on too. They're authors, they're speakers, they're travelers. And just coordinating, it's like herding cats to get all of our schedules to align.
I had someone dropped an A-list bomb on me this week. I was asking, I don't think I'm at liberty to say, but it was, I'll say this, a recent Grammy winning star. And I emailed somebody, be like, hey, you want to come on and be our fourth? And they're like, I totally would, but I'm in the studio with this person, this super famous person. And I wanted to say, here's what I wanted.
You can say, hey, you're a friend of the show. You should join us. Sorry, man. I'm in the studio this week with Casey Musgraves. You can say it. Just say it. You're not going to say who the friend is.
And I said, I thought we were friends. Choose between me and Casey right now. He chose Casey Musgraves. And so here we are. We are.
And I understand that you're busy. I understand these people are busy, but this is what I said when you told me that, Jesse, and I stand by this. When you're in the studio with somebody, this is not a 24. They don't lock the doors until you finish an album. This person has, unless Casey runs a very different sort of recording schedule.
Yeah, she does.
And then the other thing is there's another person that was going to join us this morning, and all of a sudden they remember they have to take their children to school this morning. So that's when I said, unless you choose between me and your children, we're not friends anymore. They chose their children too. So.
Also, what children are still in school mid-June?
Yeah.
In Florida, children have been free for a month at this point.
Today was
They're
the last
roaming
day.
the streets. Yeah.
Today was the last day for kids around here. And I moved on to the most socially active cul-de-sac in the history of the world. They have this big thing where all the parents hide in the bushes for when the middle schoolers get off with water balloons and water guns, and they make the kids run like a gauntlet down the cul-de-sac on the last day. Oh yeah, they're into it, man.
How many middle school children live on your street? This is so strange to me that all these people have chosen to live next to each other with in the exact same stage of life with the exact same age children. That's crazy.
I mean, I'd say the parents' ages vary pretty wildly, but I'd say a lot of the kids are within like a 6-year range of each other. You know, they're almost old enough for them to be like a parents versus kids basketball tournament. That's what I'm going to be lobbying for because, I feel like, here's the thing. I've been perfecting my game for years. Cameron's seen me ball it out.
That's true.
And I have not only maintained the abilities from my high school glory days, but I've learned all the dirty uncle tricks that you use in the post. Some shirt pulling, some elbows, throwing some weight around a little, calling cheap fouls. I wear them down mentally, physically, emotionally, and sometimes even spiritually. And I can't wait till I
have you ever done the Lance Stevenson blow in the ear of your opponent?
Oh, I mean, that's literally when I go to shake their hand. Hey, good game. Looking forward to playing. And I lean in real close, just go right into the air, and they look at me, and the parents, like the kids' parents, look at me like, why'd you blow my kids here? And I just said, it's part of the game. I'm teaching them skills that they're going to learn on the streets. And
literally the streets being your cul-de-sac.
That's right.
I think you put a few stakes in this game. I like the idea of a basketball, of parents versus kids basketball game.
Are you saying turn it into a barbecue as well? Throw some stakes into the game?
Well, I mean, obviously there's going to be food.
That's a normal occurrence around
Protein's
here.
just important. But I also think there's actual literal, I think we need some literal stakes. Like if the kids beat you, which I don't think is going to happen, but if the kids beat you, then they like claim you on their taxes from now on. Or so I don't know what the rule. I'm not a parent. I don't know how this all works.
When I was a kid, there was a mailman. Who, when he would see us playing basketball, would stop the mail truck and jump in a game. And I'll say this: we were kids, and he was a grown man, and he would show no mercy. He was just dominating, blocking shots, talking trash. When the game was over, he would just continue his mail route. It made me consider a career in the postal service because
a life with the postal service.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you can just pull over whenever you see something fun going on and enjoy it. I mean, who's going to complain?
Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, we talk to our author, pastor, thinker, leader. Max Lucado is joining us.
Multi-hyphenate, I think they call those people. Like when they got that many hyphens in their name, then you just do it all. You just group it all under one big multi-hyphenate title.
Okay, and I'll say this, between Max Lucado's books that he has made available to the public and my self-published fringe political theory books that I've written under a pseudonym and self-published online, we have sold more than 100 million copies. No big deal. Not bragging, but me and Max, really, I'm not sure I would give the breakdown, but I just don't know it. I just know between you and him, me and him, it's 100 million sold. So no big deal.
Has he really sold 100 million books?
Yes.
Dude, that guy writes like a machine. You know how some people spend their whole life, you talk to those guys who are like, I'm working on a book, I'm writing my book right now, and you're like, that's really great. Max Lucado has written, I don't know how, he probably doesn't know how
40.
many.
It's over 40.
The guy is just churns them out, like pancakes on Sunday morning.
He is prolific.
What's crazy is that he's also a pastor. I mean, it's like if you were a full-time author, you put in 40 hours a week in writing, I could see the volume. But like he's also preparing sermons, leading as a large church. He's a family man. Like he speaks. I mean, he's not just writing. That's what's crazy.
He doesn't sleep. That's something that people do. We talk about that quite a bit. He doesn't know how. Never learned. Doesn't feel like he needs it. Yeah, he does. It just doesn't happen.
That's the key to productivity: is get an extra 8 hours of work time a day. That's what we're looking for.
Here's the key, and here's what I'm working on: is hiring a full-time assistant who just transcribes everything, like a court stenographer. And this assistant just walks around with me with a typewriter, capturing every word I say. And I tell them at the end of the day, figure out how to turn this into a book. And they say to me, it's not going to make any sense. There are some very dangerous ideas in what you have been ranting about all day. I'm not comfortable putting this out, and I don't care. That's how I will publish 40 bucks. It's just a stenographer who shadows me all the time, and I have no shame in that. So.
All right, so moving the show along, it is time for...
It's the hot list. It's sizzling.
Did you extend the bacon sizzling?
I think
it sounded a little more pronounced.
It did. I think
it's the same.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
He
The
just
past it
fades
just
it
was a
out
little
usually.
like, tss, and today it sounds like I'm in the kitchen at Denny's.
All right, going to number 5 this week on the hot list. Switchfoot covered "Living on a Prayer" in preparation for their upcoming tour with Bon Jovi. The band's getting ready to play a series of concert dates in Europe with Bon Jovi, and leading up to those stadium shows, they released a cover of his classic ballad by their tour mates. Here's a clip.
You actually hit that note.
I'm having a good time.
Oh, I'm having a great time. I'm having the time of my life.
I'm literally listening to that thinking the Venn diagram of fan bases that enjoyed that mashup.
Yeah.
I'm going, that's pretty narrow niche there.
Although I think on paper they're not the same thing, but I do feel like this is in the same sphere as the Rambo trailer. So I want to be careful about our conversation here, because this could easily turn into this week's Rambo trailer.
I will
redux.
say this. I want someone to do this. I don't know how they would, but somehow like find the stems for that Rambo trailer extract Old Town Road and put Switchfoot's cover of Living on a Prayer over it and just see if it works.
Why not just Living on a Prayer? I mean, here's my thing
no.
about covers. Okay, you've got to put your own twist on it and
I
make
agree.
it your own.
I
That
agree,
just
yeah.
sounded like Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer with John
like
Foreman
karaoke,
singing it.
like John Foreman karaokeing Living
Come
on a
John.
Prayer.
John,
Yeah.
reinterpret it, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Do you like
we
it?
like John. John, friend of the pod.
Oh, friend of the pod, longtime fan.
Are you
I'm
talking
just
about
saying,
John Bon Jovi or John Foreman?
Both.
Foreman.
Which John?
I'm just saying, like, make it sound like a Switchfoot song. It just sounds like a Bon Jovi song to me.
We posted this on the site, and Tyler, you did some copy editing on that little piece, and I included one of my favorite images of on the internet in the post, and it is John Bon Jovi has that song, "It's My Life."
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
that one.
Yeah.
There is a picture on the internet of someone who got a tattoo, and it says "It's is my life." So there's a typo with the "It's is," but then it has like a little like hyphen to denote who this quote comes from, and she wrote on her and tattooed under it is John Bovey. John Bovey, ladies and gentlemen. It is my life. My favorite song by my favorite artist, John Bovey.
Tattoo typos
Bovey.
truly are my fit. Like, it's when I'm having a down day. I think I've told you this, Jesse. When I'm having a down day, things are a little stressful at the office or whatever. Googling bad tattoos will turn it flips the frown upside down like few other things on the internet can do for me.
Because that one could have been, so easily checked. Like, not only for grammar, like "it's is a bad grammatical error.
It is grammatical. John Bovey. You would think the tattoo artists and listen to John Bon Jovi like we listen to Switchfoot on this podcast. They just go together. It's just part of the same world. I'm saying, but maybe it's in the tattoo artist code. Just like, they tell me what they want, I do it too. I don't ask questions.
It's
she
is
said
my
she
life,
wanted
John
It's is my life with John Bovey. That's what she's getting. I get paid. I don't care.
All right, coming in number 4 this week on the hot list, Terrence Malick's next movie is reportedly all about Jesus. Well, kind of. So his latest work is called A Hidden Life, and it premiered at Cannes. It got rave reviews for its depiction of a conscientious objector in Austria during World War II and the ensuing harassment he received from his local community and even his church for refusing to work with the Third Reich program. But the 75-year-old is spending no time resting on his laurels and is apparently already working on his next feature, which ought to be intriguing for our audience. It's called The Last Planet, and it's going to evidently, quote, convey passages in the life of Christ through representing evangelical parables. Now, this being a Terrence Malick movie, it's a safe bet that the resulting project isn't going to be a straightforward or even necessarily linear thing. Malick movies operate more on impressionistic and even poetic levels, prioritizing mood over narrative and virtually everything over a brief runtime. However, they do typically draw A-list casts. Recent films that he's done have starred Brad Pitt, Ben Affleck, Kate Blanchett, Natalie Portman, Christian Bale, Rachel McAdams, Jessica Chastain, and a ton of others. No other details have been released about the cast or release date for The Last Planet, but keep your eye on that.
Yeah, it constantly fascinates me how Terrence Malick is able to draw not just A-list, but like A+ list, right? Like
Big stars.
Yeah, the most famous, the most recognizable, the most talented actors in the world constantly flock to his movies. When's the last time you guys have watched one of those films? Because
Jesse and I got into a row about this. Jesse and I agree on a lot of things, but we tooth and nail.
And I've rarely seen Tyler get visibly angry at me when I'm ranting at him about how boring it is to watch montages of people run their hands over the tops of hay while walking through a field at sunset, and the silhouettes of people, in bed sheets that are drying on an old scenic clothesline while some narrator mindlessly drones on while an orchestra plays in the background. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't find them entertaining movies at all.
I think you are describing a Numa video, first of all. It's just a different genre of film.
And now Rob Bell is going to walk across the street and help his elderly neighbor shovel while some explosions in the sky plays in the background. It's basically the same concept.
All right, coming in number 3 this week on the hot list. Oh man, Questlove from The Roots wore. He went to the Shaft premiere this week, and you're on the red carpet. You're going to a movie premiere, and what did he wear? A Preachers and Sneakers hoodie. So for those still unfamiliar with the viral Instagram account Preachers and Sneakers, the feed features images of pastors like Stephen Furtick, John Gray, Chad Veach, and others wearing some very expensive kicks and outfits in the pulpit. Evidently, the Roots drummer and Tonight Show bandleader Questlove is a fan. While attending the premiere of Shaft, he wore a Preachers and Sneakers branded hoodie. But if you're looking to cop one for yourself, we've got some bad news. According to the caption, Quest got it 1 of 1, exclusive for him from the guy who runs the account.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of curious of Questlove's true opinion on the fad. But I told Tyler this week, I think that feed, although it's given us a lot of joy and pleasure to scroll through, it's close to jumping the shark, and here's why. They're running out of like preacher and sneaker images.
He
for one.
He literally said that. He posted one that was pretty old, and somebody commented like, "Dude, you run out of material. This is from like 2011." And he replied to the commenter and said, "Yeah, you have no idea how hard it is to find images anymore."
Well, and here's why I think it jumped the shark.
This is a good observation, Jess. This is good journalism.
Recently, I was looking at the feed, and one of them was of J.D. Greer, who's the president of the Southern Baptist Convention. I don't know J.D., but I can tell you this: if you're president of the Southern Baptist Convention, you're probably a little square. I mean, the Southern Baptist it was only 2 conventions ago that they made untucking your shirt unsinful. So, like, they're not exactly the most progressive and fashionable people.
What?
I'm just making that.
Probably.
Yeah.
We don't know. But
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me.
For a while, it was.
They're currently debating whether or not women should preach. So it's not like known for its progressive.
It's not like it's like that much.
Wildly, like,
Yeah.
No one's trying to pull back the reins. Oh, whoa, they're getting out of line there.
Yeah, I mean, there was, they excommunicated a pastor recently for not wearing khakis during the early morning non-contemporary service. You know, it was only a few years ago that you could start wearing carpenter.
There was no hammer loop in the jeans, so they had to publicly censure him.
It was only a few years ago, where the SBC allowed non-carpenter jeans into buildings. So to see J.D. Greer on Preachers and Sneakers wearing a pair of Jordan 3s. Now, these were only $200, which by Preacher and Sneakers standards, throw another zero on there, and that's kind of the more normal price. But still, it kind of jumped the shark. And I feel like so did Jordan's. I felt like up to now, Jordan was a pretty untouchable brand. But, with the rise of Yeezys, with all of these other athletic shoe companies really stepping up their streetwear game, and now J.D. Greer wearing Jordans, I really feel like that brand's gone downhill. So,
Well, it was trying to make a point. It made it.
I think it made the point, and it doesn't need to last. Nothing's going to last forever. I do think I'm not opposed to the idea of Preachers and Sneakers merch, but I do think you put yourself in a tough spot for how much you charge for this merchandise now.
If you make anything over the cost of manufacturing,
then you've opened yourself up to your own.
Hypocrite. Yeah.
He could step in a trap pretty easily, and we don't. And now that it's Questlove is wearing it, you could conceivably get away with charging a decent amount for it if he hadn't made his name staked his whole reputation on not making money or not spending too much on clothing, which I think is, again, I'm not knocking him. I think it's a valid. I think the point that he brought up is a valid one. I just think he's in a tough spot now.
Yeah, the tension is real. Yep. All right, coming in number 2 this week on the hot list, Arcade Fire received the Peace and Justice Activist Award for their work in Haiti. The band's Regine Chasson, who fronts Arcade Fire with her husband Win Butler, is a child of Haitian immigrants and has championed humanitarian causes in the country for years and founded the organization CANPE. The organization helps young people in Haiti get connected with educational and professional opportunities. The band performed at the Artists for Peace and Justice Gala, which raised more than $250,000 for CANPE and other causes. Arcade Fire has innovated charitable giving in the music industry. Starting in 2007, they've donated $1 from every concert ticket that they sell to causes that support communities in Haiti. The band's violin player, Marika Anthony Shaw, has also founded a group called Plus One that pairs other artists like the National and St. Vincent with causes they're passionate about and collects $1 from their ticket sales to support them. So far, Plus One has raised about $10 million for charitable causes around the world. Plus One also being a Christian boy band from 1999.
I was not aware that a member of Arcade Fire was also a founding member of Plus One. That's a fun little bit of Christian music trivia there.
Plus One is giving their reunion tour ticket sales to charitable causes. So far, they have raised $15. So keep an eye out. Every little bit helps, man. Every little bit helps. It's from family members of Plus One, but still, it's every dollar. It's one step closer.
Yeah, better than nothing.
Coming in number 1 this week on the hot list, Jon Stewart, delivered a blistering speech slamming Congress for ignoring 9/11 first responders, and then they acted. For well over a decade now, the former Daily Show host has been laser focused on the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund. The act was first passed in 2010 as a way of providing health care to those suffering serious medical issues connected to the 2001 terrorist attack in New York City. But that act was only funded for 5 years, and currently over 11,000 different types of cancer have been reported that can be linked to the 9/11 attacks, from an aggressive form of brain cancer to debilitating lung cancers. Extending the funding of the act has been a passion project of Stewart's, who devoted an entire episode of his show to the cause and has since become the most vocal face of the fight to get the cause funded. This week, he appeared before House Judiciary Subcommittee on Civil Rights and Civil Liberties to deliver an emotionally charged plea and a harsh condemnation of Congress for failing first responders and tying up past efforts for funding with other bills. Stewart was visibly emotional throughout, fighting back tears as he cited the stories of men and women who died before the bill was passed, saying, "I can't help but think what an incredible metaphor this room is. A room filled of 9/11 first responders, and in front of me, a nearly empty Congress. Sick and dying, they brought themselves down here to speak to no one. Shameful." Here's a clip.
And I'm sorry if I sound angry and undiplomatic, but I'm angry. And you should be too. And they're all angry as well. And they have every justification to be that way. There is not a person here, there is not an empty chair on that stage that didn't tweet out, "Never forget the heroes of 9/11. Never forget their bravery. Never forget what they did, what they gave to this country." Well, here they are. And where are they? And it would be one thing if their callous indifference and rank hypocrisy were benign, but it's not. Your indifference costs these men and women their most valuable commodity: time. It's the one thing they're running out of.
That was a difficult thing to watch, but it ended up being effective. I mean, it moved the needle. Yeah, it ended up not only getting the attention of the internet, but constituents of these lawmakers.
The next day, the House Judiciary Committee unanimously passed the bill that will extend the funding for the September 11th Victims Compensation Fund. In politics, sometimes there's just some things that are right, and we need to move them forward. They're not partisan. We just need to do them. And thankful for people like Jon Stewart using his voice, his platform, to raise awareness about this thing that's affecting thousands of people who are truly heroes and sacrifice their health and their lives for others. And I'm glad to see that it worked and that the House responded.
I was thinking about it in terms of, I think a lot of us do that, and I'm guilty of this too, of using a lot of, and it's kind of a world that Jon Stewart inadvertently helped create, using a lot of snark and disaffection with and how we talk about politics, which is understandable. There's a lot of things to be snarky and insincere about. So it's very moving to hear somebody who seems very, very earnest, who certainly looked very earnest. He was crying while he delivered that speech, to see like somebody who's genuinely feeling something, has a real strong moral sense of moral purpose in what he was talking about, and was very clear and forceful about it. I'd like to see more of that in our political discussions, because I think it works. It's effective.
And like, as much as everyone kind of makes commentary about the fusion of celebrity and politics. I mean, we have the current president was a former reality TV star. I do think there's something to say for some of these people using their platform to get attention to things that otherwise may fly under the radar for the average American.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know that a House Judiciary Committee hearing on the extension of the 9/11 Victims Foundation Fund would be something that the average American would really have much of an awareness of if it wasn't for someone like Jon Stewart going there and kind of rallying people. I mean, we saw it a few years ago when like Ashton Kutcher and Louis Giglio were both present, and Ashton Kutcher was even invited to give like a testimony at a hearing to extend funding for human trafficking relief efforts. And it's a lot of times people who have a platform actually going to Washington and getting on C-SPAN and these clips going around the internet, it does raise awareness. It is effective. I think that's just, look, celebrity has power, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's just the reality. And I think people like that using their platform for good is really positive and really needed, And
then you have the people on went the other way. You have rest in peace, but you had Congressman Fred Thompson, who served the Senator Fred Thompson, who served in the Senate until 2003, and then went and joined Law and Order, and he became a cast member on Law and Order for 4 years. Do you remember that?
Very authoritative on Law and Order. I've never watched Law and Order, but I assume every detective looks like Fred Thompson on that show.
No. He was like the boss guy. He wasn't like a detective. He was like the judge dude. I don't know what they're called. Attorney General. That kind of thing.
Good direction.
Yeah.
Good direction. I'd like to leverage more. I think people should go out of politics and into the celebrity world instead of lobbying, instead of going into like some shady, like dark money situation. Because that I don't like that. But I like the idea of these people being like, you know what? I've had to talk a lot while I was in politics. I could do it for money.
Well, dude, every once in a while you see like they'll do like an SNL cameo or something, you know?
Yeah.
And
that's true.
you're like, dude, John McCain was really funny. Another, like every time he was on, he was like, he's willing to be like self-deprecating. And he was just like, he had like it was like, it reminded like seeing John McCain doing like any kind of, cause I think he might've done like a cameo in Parks and Rec. I know, Joe Biden did, but it reminded me of like, man, some of these guys are just naturally talented. It's like when Chance guest hosted, SNL this past year. Every sketch he was in, I'm like, dude, if music didn't work out, he'd be a great cast member. Towards the end of his life, John McCain was a little old to be an SNL cast member, but if they did it, I would watch. Like, I'd be like, oh, it's really weird that they've added 82-year-old John McCain to the cast for some reason. He's a featured member this year. But, I'm kind of here for it. I'm interested to see what they got going.
Well, Dennis Miller went from SNL to the government. I'm thinking there's a couple of others as well.
There was
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, since disgraced congressman, but he was very until that happened, he was considered a very like a good politician.
Yeah.
And then Ronald Reagan, he was a movie star, and he became
Reagan was a movie star.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of crossover there.
Yeah, it goes back and forth. All right,
you think about it too hard.
This may be, we're not doing question of the week today, but if you had to have one, I already know who I would pick, and it's not ironic. If you had to pick one current celebrity to have a very high position in government, who would you pick? Because I already have mine, and he would be a UN envoy. He would be in charge of all diplomacy. Like any tense situation, we send Tom Hanks and John Lovett out there, and guess what? We're causing laughs and making friends all over.
Well, I love it. I'm with you on Hanks, but Lovett is a weird one for me.
There was
John
like
Lovett
there was like a Hanks 2016 campaign a few years ago. Like, people were trying to get him to run.
Because John Lovett is hilarious. Everything he's done is hey, remember Cameron when he had the little guest run? He had that episode of Seinfeld where he was the guy that, it's pretty dark. I don't know if this would play in modern TV, but he faked cancer so that he could get a toupee. Remember that episode?
Yeah,
John Lovett was gold in that. Remember the critic? Gold. Everything he does, gold. He is our most underrated national treasure, in my opinion.
When he filled in for Phil Hartman on News Radio, I don't know.
Yeah, those are big shoes to fill. Oh, but you guys aren't agreeing with me, Tom Hanks. If you had to elevate one celebrity,
Hanks is fine.
Honestly,
yeah,
I'm being for real. Like, especially watching that clip, I've always thought that Jon Stewart should be like a senator or something, like a elder statesman AOC, like a provocateur, a person who challenges the status quo.
Win. I think he would.
I think he would too. I really do. If he wanted to do it,
he's got name recognition. He's obviously well funded. I think it would be not hard if he wanted to get into politics, and he may just not. If he wanted to get into politics, I feel like he would at least not have a hard time getting his foot in the door.
Yeah. Hold on. I'll say this too. If we're going both ways, if George W. Bush joined the cast of SNL, I'd watch too, because I think he's naturally funny. I don't know if he's always intentionally funny, but I think he's a very funny person.
It's hard to tell what's sincere and what's not.
Not SNL. If he had like an interview show or a talk show, I'd watch it.
Yes.
He'd be great at that. Like hanging out with George Dubs, just like, I don't know, a little bit of Chip and Joe, a little, like, it wouldn't be like a studio audience thing.
Folksy.
It'd
be folksy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in.
Here's long form podcast, sitting down with George W. Like him and Will Ferrell just joking around for an hour and a half. I would listen to that. No, there's not anyone that he would interview that I wouldn't listen to if it just him joking around.
Yeah, I'd enjoy it more than some of these long form Letterman ones.
Yeah,
I think he'd be better at it.
Yeah, I know. Because like the thing is, like, I don't feel like, his politics aside, whatever people may think about it, I don't feel like there's any pretense with him. I think he really is like just kind of this, good old boy type of guy from Texas that likes talking to people. There's tons of pretense with Letterman. Right? Like Letterman knows he's David Letterman. He knows he's like swinging for something. He's swinging for a fence that he might not reach in a lot of those interviews, where I don't think George W. Bush would even care about that. I think he just want to joke around,
I mean, have you seen his paintings? He's just like trying stuff. I'm good. You're like, whatever.
I didn't think about the painting point. Okay, here, Cameron, this is it. This is what we're pitching to Netflix. Okay. Buckle up, guys.
Yeah.
What is like one of the most iconic shows of all time that, no one dislikes. I'll tell you what it is. It's Bob Ross.
I know exactly where you're at.
It's Bob Ross painting. Okay.
So George W. relaunches Bob Ross painting.
Oh,
it's George Bush painting, but he brings a guest on, like, Howard Stern's promoting his new book. Let's just go do a landscape of a cottage here. And while we talk about the memoir.
Yeah. Are you talking side by side?
Yes. Are they both painting, or are they both working on the same paint?
No. Here's what happens. The canvases are facing away from each other. Okay.
Oh.
So W can't see what Howard Stern or Tiffany Haddish or any of the other guests are painting on the other side, Okay. And then, but it's like, but the topic is like,
but the easels are low enough that they could see each other over it, so they can be conversing and glancing at each other while they're painting.
Exactly. And then the final minute's the big reveal.
And then the production value is Bob Ross-esque, which means that you are now basically blending Bob Ross in between two ferns.
Two ferns.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so it's George Dub inviting celebrities on to paint and chat. And just,
I feel like this. If I could just get his ear, I think he'd be an easy sell. I think he would just pitch in the concept, and he'd just go, "I'm in," and like literally, he would just start. I think we're onto something here,
your
guys.
impression went a little Ross Perot.
Yeah.
I think
that's his first.
In my
guess,
opinion,
by the way.
I like where you're at, Jesse. I do like where your head's at. I do think that first, the easels should be too high for them to see each other. I think that's important.
No, hold on. I'm going to go better.
I think then too, it should be Will Ferrell as George Bush.
No.
But the guest thinks it's George W. Bush and does not realize till the end when they flip the paintings around that the entire conversation was actually Will Ferrell.
Hold on. How about this? Though the easels are too high for them to see each other, both the canvases have eye holes poked in them, and the eye holes have to be incorporated into the painting, so it's not obvious in the end product. Okay,
so they are making the paintings for the Scooby-Doo mansions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Two eye holes
that's exactly
that you can only so like the obvious thing would be to paint a face around the eye holes, but you can disguise them any way you want.
Yeah.
Like however creative you want to get. I would. I'm telling you, the show just keeps getting better. Like you binge watch the first season. It would be huge. It would be huge.
I mean, George Dub painting with Tom Hanks. Oh, that'd be great. It's a great 20 minutes right there. I would watch that.
Be very relaxing.
Yeah. George Dub paint with some, with a famous athlete like LeBron James. I'd totally watch that.
Or put him with, give Obama a guest spot on there. Like, have them, they're friends,
bipartisan,
they're buddies.
Peace in our time. Yeah,
exactly.
A bipartisan. It could be.
They
I
sit
do
with
think-
each
Michelle
other.
Obama, they're buddies.
Another possibility, I think, could be that we take a page out of this new Tig Notaro show for Funny or Die, in which George W. Bush does not know who his guest is going to be, nor can he see them now, except for through the little eye holes that he's looking at, and so he has to try to guess via conversation who the guest is for that time, and it may be a very obscure like Gen Z. It could be like Zendaya. He's like, I don't know who Zendaya. He's never heard of her. That's not his brand.
Well, what's funny is it took him, he didn't get Barack Obama to the big reveal. And Obama's like, I'm telling you, I was the president right after you. Bush is like, I don't
44th
know.
president.
Cheney? Is that you? He's like, no, directly after you, I was the president of the United States of America.
We've met many times.
Rumsfeld, what are you doing here? Yeah, we've met many occasions. Once again, I was the 44th president of the United States. Okay. And Bush is like, I need another hint. Okay. Where were you born? And he goes, Hawaii. And then he looks at the eye holes and Obama's winking at him. Hawaii.
Hawaii, part of the United States. I'm an American citizen.
Winking. All right, that'll do it for.
It's the hot list. The hot list. It's sizzling.
All right, stay tuned. Up next, Max Lucado joins us.
But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. 'Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows. There's a kind of love. There's a kind of love.
You're listening to For King and Country and Echo Smith. It's God Only Knows, the Timbaland remix. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Half Alive with Runaway. Hey, this show is brought to you by Quip. You've got a day or so before Father's Day, and there's a lot of graduations going on right now. So go get them a one-size-fits-all gift, a perfect one, like a new oral health routine with Quip. The guiding features make sticking to good habits simple with Quip, and signing them up for a subscription helps them save and refresh their toothbrush every 3 months. With the Quip electric toothbrush, you can show your thanks where it really counts. 75% of us use old, worn-out bristles that are ineffective, so with Quip, brush heads are automatically delivered on a dentist-recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5. A friendly reminder when it's time to refresh and stay committed to your oral health. Also, Quip toothbrushes have a built-in 2-minute little timer that pulses every 30 seconds to kind of remind you how long to brush. And Quip is one of the first electric toothbrushes accepted by the American Dental Association. They're backed by over 25,000 dental professionals and have thousands of verified 5-star reviews. I love Quip because it looks great, it's high quality, and it's a great price. And why over 1 million happy, healthy mouths do too. Quip starts at just $25, and you can go to getquip.com/relevant right now. You can get your first refill pack for free. That's your first refill pack for free at getquip.com/relevant. Well, Max Lucado is a pastor and the author of more than 40 books that have sold more than 100 million copies. In his latest book, How Happiness Happens, Max looks at how to find true joy in a world obsessed with comparison, unrealistic expectations, and me-centric goals. Tyler recently spoke with Mr. Lucado about the book and the keys to finding real happiness.
Yeah, I enjoyed this conversation because I am really actually interested in the topic of how like happiness and faith work together and don't work together. So the first thing I wanted to ask Max Lucado about was how we even define happiness. I feel like it's a word that we use a lot, but don't necessarily have a great, the definitions can be very different from person to person. So I wanted to know how he defined it. And I thought his answer was kind of illuminating in terms of how Christians should think about happiness.
What I found is a good working definition is that happiness is a deeply rooted sense of contentment that does not depend upon circumstance. It's a deeply rooted In other words, it's something that's within us, and it's a sense of contentment. That word works. Happiness. Some people think of happiness, they think of frivolity or goofiness, but contentment and happiness really are synonymous. But it's very important to point out that from a biblical perspective, joy and happiness do not rely upon anybody. They really rely upon our relationship with God and our understanding of why we're on the earth. And so I use that as a working definition, a deeply rooted sense of contentment that is not contingent upon or dependent upon any circumstance.
That guy should write books. It's pretty good.
Yeah, this guy is pretty well put, right?
I would watch
articulate.
him. I would watch him looking through the eye holes of a canvas.
I think you've got guest one for your new show.
Yeah.
So the inspiration for him to write this particular book, this 40th plus book, was a few studies that he came across that said, at least according to one study that he found, that that happiness was at an all-time low in the U.S. That the number of people who say they're happy was that now only 1 in 3 people consider themselves happy, which was very distressing to him. So I asked him he looked into why that was, and his theory I thought was interesting as well. Here's what he said.
The reason that makes the most sense to me is that we are under constant attack from a multi-billion-dollar marketing industry that tells us we have to find happiness in what we own, what we drive, the diploma on the wall, what we do in the bedroom or the boardroom, that happiness depends upon exterior influences. And the reason, here's an example. I went home today for lunch, and I love to, when I go home, I'll do what a lot of guys do. I turned on Sports Center just to see how the basketball game went last night. To find out the score, I endured one commercial telling me I don't have enough hair. I endured another commercial telling me I'm not masculine enough. I need more stuff in my body to make myself as I'm getting older. And another commercial telling me that if I was a real man, I would drive a Jeep. Well, for crying out loud, I got bombarded there in 90 seconds. And I think it was on my mind because I've been thinking about this topic. But imagine if it's not on your mind. Imagine if you're not aware of this. Imagine that if you just leave yourself exposed or vulnerable, well, then you're going to, after that just trio, those 3 commercials, that trio of commercials, you're going to think, oh man, I'm unhappy because I'm getting bald, I'm getting old, and I'm driving the wrong car. And so imagine, multiply that by 100 such messages a day, and I think it's a full court press. I really do.
It is interesting to think about what the constant onslaught of like felt need based advertising does to like our collective contentment, when you're always being told you need this or that, it has to take a toll on you on some psychological level,
I think it was something I used to hear about a lot more. Maybe it was more of a 90s thing, like consumerism is like you can't think about like stuff. Materialism isn't going to make you happy, and you believe it, and we all say we believe it. But I think Max is right. You can believe it all you want to, but we are nevertheless being hit all day by thousands, literally thousands of ads telling us otherwise, and that's going to have a psychological effect on you unless you're very, very disciplined and active about pushing back against that.
It's that kind of insight that has made him my first choice for the premier guest of Bushwhacked episode 1. I can't wait to see what he thinks of it.
Bushwhacked. Episode
That's
1. Great.
Were you working on that for the whole Lucado? You weren't even listening to Max Lucado. Tell you how to be happy.
Sorry, who's the guest today, Tyler?
So my obvious question after that was, so what do we do? Like we're watching TV, we're driving down the street, we're online, so we're going to see these types of ads. What's the solution? Here's what he said.
Happiness is really a moral obligation that we have. We do the world a favor when we pursue happiness, not selfishness, but happiness, when we're genuinely discovering a sense of contentment that does not depend upon any circumstance, then we're going to be a better member of our family, better member of the workforce, and a better member of society. And if we're a churchgoer, a better member of a church. And so I think we're doing the world a favor by going on the offensive. And Scripture is packed with suggestions on how to find a happiness that does not depend upon other people or other situations.
Yeah. Thinking of it as an obligation, that's an interesting idea.
That's a shift. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Especially as Christians, like we want to reflect that. I do have one more question for you guys on this topic. What do you think's better, Bushwhacked or For the W? Which one for the name of the show?
For the W. I think Bushwhacked. Well, okay. Bushwhacked.
You know what? A little negative.
No. You know what Bushwhacked is? Bushwhacked is shot on location on his ranch. And so like not only the main through line is that they're doing the painting in his little home studio, but they cut away to walking around the property. They're out riding the ATVs, maybe the horses. Then you're experiencing the nature type stuff. Now you're bushwhacked. You know what I mean? Yeah. I like it. Yeah, I like it. If it's shot on property, I'm in.
Yeah, but the painting segment's definitely for the
main thing. Yeah.
Bush strokes. Like brush strokes?
No.
For the painting part.
It's close. You're circling it, Chandler. It's close. It's close. But, we can only one of us can name this show, and that person is so that's fair. Just give up.
You know who lives just down the road is there, Mr. Max Lucado. Maybe he shoots
That's
over.
True. They're both Texas guys.
For like Oprah's doing her like spiritual Sunday stuff, Maybe there's a special Sunday edition of Bushwhacked where he brings on like
Maxed out.
Maxed out.
So you're saying the Dubs starts his own channel and he's like handing shows to people like Oprah does.
I think this is
Bushwhack TV.
So Bushwhack TV. So on Sunday they do more thoughtful spiritual programming. So Maxed Out is the 11 a.m. show.
Yeah, but I would say this maxed out sound. I do agree that Max Lucado should be on Sunday mornings in the spiritual block, but maxed out sounds like a game show. And now I'm kind of into the idea of Max Lucado hosting a game show on Bushwhack TV. Like I'm really liking this network.
And I think it should be sort of like it should be sort of like a Legends of the Hidden Temple, maybe mixed with a little bit of like there's an aggro crag. There, like you're bringing in a lot of like 90s Nickelodeon.
For some reason, there's an American Gladiator trying to tackle people.
There's no Bible. It's not pastoral. This is purely preteens in feats of pitting their physical strength against each other and against the forces of a giant styrofoam mountain.
Yeah, and now for reasons that are never made clear, in order to win the game, you have to beat a now 57-year-old Laser from American Gladiators in a jousting contest to win Maxed Out. Yeah,
Maxed Out.
Here for it.
Maxed Out.
Yeah.
Tell them what they've won. Anyway, we have one more clip.
There's something about pastoral and pastoral that there's something there too. Like, because they've got the pastures and then the pastors and the pastures. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Pastor. Oh,
the ranch has pastures, and on Sunday he brings pastors to the pastures.
But here's the thing, like it's very hard to connect with the show because to really hone in the pasture thing of pastors, it's these pastors walking through a pasture, but it's very, very zoomed out. You can barely see them. It's mostly a very, very wide shot of the pasture. You know, they're just two dots on the screen at that point.
We've all heard of comedians in cars getting coffee.
Right.
This is going to be pastors and pastures getting slimed by the old Nickelodeon slime ball.
while an aging Laser from American Gladiator waits behind the corner to tackle them both. It's kind of like a Bear Grylls one where the pastors are just dropped off in the middle of the pasture. They don't really know where they are. Everything vanishes, and now they have to get back to civilization. It's just called Pastors and Pastures, and it's part wilderness survival. It's part long walk, chit chatting,
life lessons.
Yeah, life lessons. Yeah, I like it. Pastors and Pastures.
And if they resort to killing like a wild boar with their bare hands, that's fine. That's part of the show. Whatever happens, happens. You know?
I think that should be part of it. There's a Bandersnatch element to it. Like you can choose to kill the boar with your bare hands. You can choose if you want former President Bush, or Pastor Max Lucado to kill the boar, but somebody's got to do it.
Right.
Guys, I think it took us, Cameron, just under an hour to get deep in the ditch and not get back out. And Chandler, make a little note here for me to make sure we don't send this to Max Lucado's publicist as Tyler queues up the fourth answer.
Well, the last thing that Max Lucado and I talked about was the actual was sort of the practical application. How do we become happy? How do we get ourselves to that point? And I did like how counterintuitive his answer was.
If I want to be more like Christ, then I will wake up every day saying, okay, how can I make other people happy? How can I make other people happy? And this is why the one another verses in Scripture are so profound and practical. There's over 50 of them, if I'm correct. And these passages encourage us to do everything from teach one another, forgive one another, love one another, admonish one another, instruct one another, forgive one another, be patient with one another. I mean, it's just all these practical little nuggets in Scripture. And the good news is that if I want to be happy today, all I need to do is take 2 or 3 of these and say, today is the day that I am going to be patient with someone, or I'm going to tolerate someone, or I'm going to forgive someone. I'm going to put these into practice. And the great news is, as I try to put smiles on the faces of others, I end up putting a smile on my own face.
It's insights like that you'll get in the first season of George Bush's new interview show, Curious George.
That's the way right there.
Coming to Bushwhack TV.
That's it.
This summer.
I like what Max was saying though. Like that, I mean, it's something about. It's so interesting to me to see the global perspective of joy and happiness when, you know, in America, so much about our society is built on, okay, if I can be more successful or if I could get a more comfortable life, I'll be happier and things like that. And then you travel to the third world and the people who have the least have the most innate joy. And so to hear what he's talking about, like looking to Scripture and like when we are intentional about choosing to be kind to others or serve others or forgive others, then the kind of after effect is that we also get more joyful and find happiness as well. Versus the American mindset is, I want to obtain things or I want to acquire happiness for my own sake. You know, he's saying Scripture says it's the inverse, that as we give out, we find joy. And you see that in the global context too. It's really interesting. I like it's very self-helpy almost. It's like almost like bristly, like, oh no, we shouldn't be trying to be happy or whatever. No, there's a joy that comes from the Lord that we should be pursuing and be mindful about. And the Scripture does give us a roadmap on how to, you know, pursue those things because that's how God wants us to be.
And I think it's something that we all kind of know or we say we know, but it still takes a lot of effort to overcome that innate desire to spend as much energy as I can doing nice things for myself so that I can be happier. That's a daily decision that you have to make again and again to try to make other people happy. Or like he says, sometimes it's just be patient or be tolerant with somebody else the way that I hope they are tolerant with this episode of the podcast that is about them, because it'll make them happier.
Be forgiving with us. That Annie can't be here.
Good that'll feel.
Yeah, it'll feel good for you to tweet something nice about this episode.
And remember, all that you ask is you misspell Max Lucado's name in the tweet so that his team, they don't see it, because that's at this point that is critical after the George W. Bush talk show stuff. So,
all right, stay tuned. Up next, it's our Listener of the Week.
And snakes and stones never broke my bones, so you need to calm down. You're being too loud.
When you think about living life on mission, you might imagine people who dedicate their lives to living abroad and spreading the gospel. But in reality, living on mission just means partnering with Jesus here and now, wherever you are, to love people well with the skills he gave you. That's why Saddleback Church created the Made for Mission Conference. This October, join others passionate about making a difference in the world at Saddleback Church in Southern California to get the tools and training you need to make a difference right where you are. At the Made for Mission Conference, you'll unleash your life's mission, learn practical skills to serve, and find out how to turn your church into a hub for change. Hear from speakers like Pastor Rick Warren, Brian Fickert, David Garrison, and many more. There are even opportunities for hands-on ministry training for issues like human trafficking, the opioid crisis, orphan care, racism, refugees, poverty, global health, church planting, and more. The Made for Mission Conference takes place October 1st through 3rd, 2019 in Lake Forest, California at Saddleback Church. Learn more and get your tickets today by visiting madeformission.church. That's madeformission.church. Use offer code RELEVANT to save $25.
And we see you over there on the internet, comparing all the girls who are killing it. But we figured you out. We all know now. We all got crowns. You need to calm down.
You're listening to, I think for the first time ever on this podcast, Taylor Swift, the song You Need to Calm Down. Okay, it's time for...
You listen to the show, and it's time to get to know you. It's the listener of the week.
Our listener of the week this week, Jesse, found on Twitter because of one very specific...
That's right.
Nugget of information that she shared with us. Please welcome to the show, our listener of the week, Angela Seiler.
Hey, guys.
Where are you joining us from, Angela?
I am currently sitting in my bedroom in Astoria, Queens, New York.
Astoria, Queens, New York.
Never heard of New York. Queens?
Yeah, it's this tiny little nowhere city. You really wouldn't understand at all about like this very small town culture we have up here.
Other than sitting on your bed in New York, what do you do there?
I honestly have no idea how y'all will react to this because I'm not sure you know what this is, but I teach Pilates.
Yeah, of course we know.
I know what Pilates is.
Tyler,
have some respect.
Tyler's
those storefronts that you drive by and never go into. They say Pilates on the sign.
That's true. I know how to pronounce it at least.
Yeah, I basically tell people to do what to do all day with their abs and pelvises and arms and legs and stuff. And sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't.
So, Angela, just so I'm I got the Pilates is basically like slow yoga, right? Like it's like yoga. You just move really slowly.
You could not possibly be more wrong.
How dare you?
Smokes.
Yeah.
I very much dare, Jesse. You have no idea how much I sass you when I'm listening to this podcast when obviously you guys cannot hear me. No, Pilates, the type that I teach is actually done on very special equipment with a whole bunch of springs. So you're working with and against resistance to do a lot of functional movements that increase core strength and flexibility.
So the 3 facts that Angela sent us on Twitter about herself, I'll mention them. We need to breeze through the first 2 pretty quickly, Angela, because Jesse wants to double down on the third one.
Third one.
So
I wondered if that would be the case.
The first one, at 12, I was a guest on a Spanish language talk show. Neither of my parents speak Spanish. What in the world?
Yes, that is correct. So I grew up in the DC area, and my elementary school actually offered a program where you could learn 50% of your classes in a foreign language. So I learned math and science in Spanish for the first 6 years of my formal education. And as a result, I became fluent in Spanish by the time I hit like 7th, 8th grade. I was speaking really, really well. And so by the time I got to 7th grade, my teacher ended up inviting me, along with one other girl in the class who was a native speaker, to go on this public access Spanish talk show in our neighborhood, in our county, and talk about the immersion program that I went through. So I literally did a TV show that neither one of my parents could understand a word of what I said.
Oh, wow. Do you still have a tape of this show somewhere that you break out to embarrass your parents with? Because I'm assuming they still haven't learned Spanish.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhere hidden in the dusty archives of my parents' VHS collection, but I wouldn't want to show it to anybody because that was right in the middle of my awkward phase, and we really try not to focus on that.
Yeah, I never left mine. My awkward phase started and it just persisted. So, well, at least yours ended.
More and more awkward.
Yeah.
All right. Fact number 2. I was there the night aliens invaded NYC. I was there the night. Is that the blue sky thing?
Yes, it was.
Last year?
Yes. So what was told on the news, obviously we didn't know when it was happening. And I live 2 blocks from that Con Edison plant.
Oh my goodness.
Where the explosion was.
What?
Yes.
So you were very close to it. Those were very eerie images.
That's your own Chernobyl. Are you okay?
Yeah, thankfully we're all fine, but I do know how both my husband and I would react in case of an actual extraterrestrial invasion, because it started with just this almost earth-shattering, earth-shaking kind of bang that happened. And next thing you know, the entire block was lit up in like freakishly bright blue lights. And there was this pulsing, humming sound that happened. And it went on for, I want to say, about 10 minutes. And people literally started driving away in panic. Like, people got right into their cars and just left. And it was like 10 o'clock at night. So I was getting ready for my outrageously early wake up time the next day. And my husband literally threw on his bathrobe and slippers and went, "I'll be right back." And
he went to go fight the aliens, hypothetically?
He was going to go take them down?
Yes. He
Like
went
Men in Black
100% was about to go fight the aliens in a bathrobe. And honestly, knowing him, he probably would win. But meanwhile, I'm sitting in bed, like covers pulled up to my chin, being like, okay, what do we have in the house that I can use as a weapon? Is there enough space for me to hide under the bed, or do I need to use the closet? What do I do if the aliens actually walk into my house?
I love the thinking here that these aliens have figured out technology to cross the universe, to land in New York City, to cast this eerie light, to come visit Earth. Yet you're convinced that you could take one with like a spatula hiding in your kitchen. Like they've been that unprepared for meeting you and your husband after their journey across the universe. That was kind of the thinking there.
Well, hey, I mean, in Signs, they were defeated by a little spritz of water, and I have a little spray bottle by my bed, so worst comes to worst.
Hollywood has taught us that some good old-fashioned American can-do attitude can take down most extraterrestrials.
Exactly.
Yeah, a crop duster, averted an alien invasion in the first Independence Day. So, I feel pretty good about
a Pilates instructor. You're probably, I assume you're like in good physical shape. You can you could beat them up with your bare hands.
Oh yeah. I'm a boxer too, so it all works out pretty well in my favor.
They'd be hopeless.
All right, and Angela, I feel like you've warmed up here. Cameron, I'm ready for the big question.
The fact that we read earlier. I know the secrets behind most quote unquote magic illusions you see in big magic shows. First of all, how?
So I used to be a cruise ship performer. And on my second ship, we actually did a show with a bunch of illusionists. And I actually had to learn the ins and outs of these illusions, or somebody was going to die inside one of those things. So my personal favorite was one that was actually called the Fire Spiker.
Okay.
And because it was literally spikes that were lit on fire. And like a person got, quote, impaled with these fire spikes. But it's kind of taken the joy out of a lot of illusions, like seeing magic shows now, because I look at it and go, oh, yeah, I know that one.
Oh, I have a couple questions here. You breezed past. Okay, first, did you take an oath that you are now breaking to never reveal these secrets?
No. I don't want her to reveal the secrets. I want her to kind of dance around it.
This is why she is on the show, Cameron. I don't want to know how fire spikes are done, Angela. How do you impale someone?
Somehow I knew you were going to interrogate me on this one, Jesse. I really did.
I'm torn about what to do here. Like, I don't want to ruin. I don't want to tell our listeners that Santa is not real. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to
I'm torn. I'm a little torn.
Yeah, and that's honestly the way that I feel about like these illusions when I see magic shows now. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, I've done that one.
The big magic shows, we know that there's trapdoors and all that kind of stuff. The up close magic stuff is the stuff that is mind bending to me.
Let me just.
Do you have any experience with that stuff?
Yeah,
I do actually. The illusionist on our ship did big illusion shows, but he also did close up magic. And his protege, who he brought on board for like our last cruise, actually is a close up magic specialist.
Oh, wow.
So they were filming his demo reel.
Okay.
So that he could market himself as a more successful magician. And they brought in a bunch of us performers to be like the witnesses and, dare I say, victims of this close-up magic show.
Okay.
And there were things that were done right in front of my face that make me genuinely angry because I cannot figure out how he did that sleight of hand wise.
You were on the receiving end, but you didn't get the intel on those ones. You have the intel on the big staged ones.
The big stage illusions are the ones that I actually had to learn how to use.
Yeah.
The close-up magic, I know in theory how it works. In practice, being that close to it, you don't see the moment when they do the swap or anything like that. They're like, this guy in particular was that good.
How did they bend the fork? I don't understand it.
Exactly. This particular one was actually a rubber band that I literally watched him like bend into an intricate little star around his fingers, and all I did was touch it, and when it came off, it stayed in the shape. And I was like, stop! No, that is not fair.
All right, but Angela, we have to know. I've been messaging with the team here, and Cameron is now cool with you. He might not say it. He's going to play coy, but I've been private messaging him while you were talking. And Chandler, if you could just mute his mic real quick, I want to know how the fire spikes are done. Tell me how the fire spikes. How do they impale them with flaming spikes? We have to know, Angela.
It's all about how the steps to the contraption are built. That's all I can say.
That reveals nothing. I'm going to need more details. Cameron, his mic's still muted. He's waving and shouting and making hand directions. Hurry, tell us, Angela. Hurry, tell us. He's running back to the sound booth.
I can read lips. He's saying, keep her talking. More details, he says.
That revealed nothing, Angela. Come on, you can do it. How does the fire spikes work?
Well, the lighting it on fire is down to lighter fluid and basically fearlessness on the part of the assistant.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. What about the impaling?
Yeah. That was good times. But literally it comes down to timing and a hollow part of the contraption and somebody who can bend into very, very, very tiny positions. Like the more I worked with illusionists, the more respect I have for the magician's assistant. They do all the hard stuff.
Yeah.
All the magician does is misdirection.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Our listener of the week, Angela Seiler. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks,
yeah,
Angela.
thanks guys for having me.
Angela.
If you want to be our listener of the week in the future, hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast and give us 3 facts about yourself that are interesting.
And don't tease us by telling us that it has to do with the contraption. That tells me nothing. Angela,
she was coy.
The secret to the trick is a contraption. Well, I figured that much. Tell me about the contraption.
You know what I'd watch? I'd watch George W. Bush trying to figure out magic tricks.
Guessing.
Trying to figure out how to do them.
Each episode is one trick and lasts over 5 hours. He never figures it out.
What would that show be called, Jesse?
I mean, I feel like all my Bush puns are used. That's probably closer to Bushwhacked. How about this? What's the old expression? Because the logo for the show is like, it's a magician and he's holding a dove and about to make it disappear. And it's called A Bird in Hand.
Oh no!
The bush. There you go. There you go. It's a thinker. It's a thinker. But it still works.
It sets up a pun that it doesn't even give you. Yeah,
exactly. You do the work of figuring out the pun, just like George W. Bush does the work of figuring out the trick. It's literally the perfect name. A bird in the hand, and it's a magician holding a dove. There, done. Another show for Bushwhack TV. I mean, I can sit here all day and come up with these guys.
Many thanks to Quip for making the episode possible. Remember, Quip starts at just $25, and if you go to getquip.com/relevant right now, you can get your first refill pack for free. It makes a great gift. Thanks also to Max Lucado for joining us. His new book, How Happiness Happens, is available for pre-order now. You can be the first to get it. Hey, if you like the show, head over to our store. There is an official Relevant Podcast fan section at the Relevant store. It's store.relevantmagazine.com. You can pick your favorite mugs and shirts and tank tops now. We have that Right to Bear Arms tank top. And some other fan swag.
Go check it out. Off the shelves.
Store.relevantmagazine.com.
You know, he also, real quick, they added a new show to the lineup for summer sweeps. You know, sweeps is coming. I don't know if you guys knew that. This one's all about tanning. It's Bush giving tanning tips, and it's called Burning Bush. Don't miss it this summer. Bushwhack TV.
I have a strong suspicion that there might be a Bushwhacked TV mug available at the store by the time this episode comes
please
out.
tell me it has all the show names on the back and their allotted network time slots.
I'm gonna be pitching my idea for a new prank show, which George W. Bush played. It's just called Bushed. You've been, but that's it's his catchphrase. You've been bushed. You've been bushed. You've been bushed.
Yeah,
he
pops out. Hey,
but he
you've been
rarely
bushed.
delivers because he feels too bad about the prank, and also the pranks often are kind of involved, and he doesn't always quite have the wherewithal to pull them all off. But he still jumps out of the bushes at the end. So you got bushed.
Well, and the other thing a lot of people are excited about is this is actually going to have sports on there. The Bush League. Bush
exciting.
League. It's a lot of sports that is in its own league. It's Bush League. Sports.
Well, it's a little league. It's on Saturday mornings. It's for the family. It's like a little league show, and it's called Bush League. Yeah.
Bush League.
Just kids running around. It's fun.
It's a
It's
whole.
fun. They're on the
network.
prairie. He has a little sports complex on the prairie on his ranch.
Yeah,
And so they all come out.
The fun of the
First
show
hour of the show is him painting getting the white paint out there and making a whole new field for the kids.
Listen, and the
very
twist,
peaceful.
the twist is like people were like, "Why would I watch kids play baseball?" The pitch is George Bush actually plays with the children, and it's just he's a pitcher, so he's just blasting fastballs down there and just smacking those 9-year-olds, meatballs their way across the plate out of the
No.
stadium.
He's not playing. He's the umpire, and he kind of doles out kindly life advice to the kids when they're up at bat, or if a kid strikes out, he kind of consoles them, walks them off, talks to them. He's like the wise old sage, but he's the umpire too.
Yeah. Well, we've already got a sponsor for it, so we need to figure it out. Anheuser-Busch. So we need to figure out what the show is, because they've already paid a significant sum to be on Bushwhack TV.
Bushwhack TV. It's got something for everyone.
It's a streaming platform, is what.
But the entire other than the one show, the Alaska Bush People, every other show is filmed on his ranch.
Yeah.
That's the criteria. He doesn't like going out.
No, he's a homebody. Nothing wrong with that.
All right, on that note, we'll wrap things up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Chandler String.
I apologize to Max Lucado. I'm Jesse Carey.
I apologize for nothing. I'm Tyler Huckabee.
And please come back, Andy F. Downs. We will see you on Tuesday. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
Searching for a new escape, I scan the exits that embrace an easy out. I hold my life out in front of me, dreams of who I wanna be, and seeing every empty page. But I find that everything I am.
It's Is My Life, my favorite song by my favorite artist, John Povey.
Relevant Podcast Network.